The Obama administration is planning sweeping new environmental rules to cut carbon pollution from power plants by 30% over the 2005 levels, and that'll be reached hopefully by 2030. Meanwhile, many people in this country who've chosen to lower their own carbon footprint using alternative energy, saving rainwater, etc., haven't always received a warm reception from local governments for not hooking into municipal services. I was joined earlier by Lori Caraballo to talk about the struggle that some are facing in leading a life of what they call self-sufficiency. And Lori is a mother of 5 who founded the website Prepper Chicks. She specializes in emergency preparedness and self-sufficient lifestyles. Her goal is to educate others in living off the grid and release their own dependency on outside influences. I first asked her to explain to people what off the grid means.
Well, for a lot of us people in the preparedness community, it doesn't necessarily mean that we want to live on an island north of Canada. It means more having the rights to be self-sufficient, not having the government dictate to us every move that we want to make. We understand there needs to be law and order within the country, but it also means that we are able to be prepared and self-sufficient in any means that we need to survive any kind of situation out there.
So living off the grid and living, as you say, self-sufficiently are a little bit different. But either way, it means, living the option of living unplugged to perhaps municipal services and things like that. Is that what you're saying, in effect?
Yes, not being dictated to on what we should, how we should have to live our lives.
Okay. Now, why are U.S. citizens like yourself choosing this lifestyle? Is it just to avoid, government control? Is it maybe to save on your carbon footprint, save on utility bills, all of these sorts of things? I mean, what is the reason that a lot of people do this?
Well, I think the biggest thing on most people's minds right now is the economy itself. We've seen the degrade in the country and the price of commodities skyrocket. And, our paychecks are not getting any larger by any means. So we think, we should have the right to be able to supplement our income with gardening, with raising, small animals, chickens, rabbits, bees, even, and be able to take care of our families.
From an environmental perspective, is living off the grid more environmentally friendly, in your opinion, than being hooked up to municipal services and living off electricity or coal power and things like that? Is this also maybe a greener lifestyle choice for you as well?
100% agree with that, yes. We are not here to harm the environment whatsoever. Actually, a lot of the practices that we keep, such as permagardening, where we integrate crops instead of just a mono-farming technique that you see in the Midwest, actually helps the environment.
Well, while the federal government is thinking about big cleanup policies, such as, cutting down on the carbon footprint from coal plants and other things, how have you seen city governments and municipalities respond to citizens who've wanted to pull the plug on their services within the United States?
Well, actually, it's been quite a backlash. And what just happened with the coal miners, and that was passed today with the EPA, it hits close to home. My brother is a coal miner in southeastern Ohio, along with my nephew. But they're trying to impart their regulations on us, but they don't give us an alternative. We're trying to help that out by looking at solar, by looking at wind, by farming, and we've seen case after case where even front yard gardening is against the law. A quarter of the states in the United States have some kind of rainwater catchment regulations out there that makes it against the law. You could be fined, you could be jailed for something as simple as catchment of rainwater.
What are some of the more aggressive tactics that you know about that have been used? I mean, I've heard about things, people's gardens being plowed up, people, as you say, prevented from catching their own rainwater. What are some of the things that have affected people in your area?
In our area, luckily in Indianapolis, we have more lax. So in Indianapolis itself, there are laws where you can keep a couple chickens in your backyard. But the biggest one, the newest one that's been out, that's been a long fight, is down in Cape Coral, Florida, where a woman is trying to live off-grid, if you want to call it that, being self-sustainable. and the city was trying to force her into hooking up to the city utilities, the electric, the water, and she didn't want to do that. And they took it to the court, and international law stepped in, which is what they termed it as, which I find is a little alarming in itself. But evicted her from her home just because she wanted to live that kind of lifestyle. I know the welfare system itself contributes to this and has gone after people that live in the Appalachian Mountains and whatnot.
That was self-sufficiency expert Lori Garaballo.